I know the term dark horse for most Turkish people is a phrase they would love to forget. I mean, after that terrible Euro 2020 run where they lost all 3 group games and only scored 1 goal while conceding 8, saw them crashing out and become, well, let's keep it honest, the laughingstock of the footballing world. I mean, everyone was hyping them up, with some even convinced that Turkey would win it all due to their backline of Premier League best 11 player Çağlar Soyuncu and Juventus starter Merih Demiral. But things didn't work out. And honestly, having the world underestimate you is kind of where you want to be. I mean, we saw that in their most recent Euro campaign, where Arda Güler and the young Turkish core were not hyped to be that good. I mean, most people said that they would probably finish 3rd in their group. However, we know how that went, as a last-second goal against Georgia and the Czech Republic saw Turkey finish 2nd, to where they would go on to beat Austria, an Austria who finished above France, Netherlands, and Poland, so they weren't just some pushovers. Anyways, losing to the quarterfinals to the Dutch is nothing to be upset about, as it was a very close match, and honestly, after this tournament, many people have started to see Turkey as a nation with a lot of developing star power. Yes, Arda Güler comes to everybody's mind, but there's also players like Kenan Yıldız, who just scored a brace in the Inter vs Juve match when he got subbed on, and also some players who are on the older side but are still showing up, like Kerem Aktürkoğlu from Benfica and Ferdi Kadıoğlu, who just signed to Brighton for a Turkish Super League transfer record of around 30 million euros. Anyways, Turkey has recently promoted to UEFA Nations League Group B after they topped their last year's group of Luxembourg, Faroe Islands, and Lithuania, which on paper should have been a very easy draw. However, the Turks did have a historic loss to the Faroe Islands and even dropped points against Luxembourg. I mean, I know they weren't playing their strongest lineup for a match, but that was just too much for Turkey, and it started their process of looking for a new coach, as even though Stefan Kuntz finished first, it was quite unconvincing in my opinion. But in came new manager Vincenzo Montella, and he led Turkey to finish first place in their Euro 2024 qualifying group, ahead of Croatia and Wales, only losing 1 game, and it would be the first time in the nation's history that they would do that. Anyways, back to the Nations League. They were put into Group B4, which consists of Wales, Iceland, and Montenegro, which on paper is actually a tad bit challenging, but the Turks were still predicted to finish 1st or 2nd, which right now they find themselves top of the group, after their first game was a tie against Wales, and Turkey did good here, as they went down to 10 men after Barış Alper Yılmaz would receive a red card in the 60th minute. And then on to match day 2, Kerem Aktürkoğlu would score a beautiful hat-trick against Iceland, and boy is he on fire this season. Keep your eyes on him. Then, Turkey would beat Montenegro in a tight 1-0 win thanks to İrfan Can Kahveci. And in their most recent game against Iceland, away from home, they were able to snag a late win, as Arda Güler would score his first goal of the season in the 88th minute, and once again Kerem would score a screamer in the 95th to seal the deal. As Turkey have 2 more games against Wales and Montenegro, I think they will draw to Wales again and beat the Montenegro side to finish first and qualify for Nations League A, which would be the first time in Turkey's history, which is just another achievement that Montella was able to say he'd done with the Turks. But what should Turkey expect to achieve in these next few years? And how are they finally becoming a squad that teams should genuinely worry about? Well, let's talk about it. And first I want to highlight Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who has received so much criticism as his club appearances were always far better than his output for the national team. But Hakan has been on a tear recently, as it seems as though Montella finally cracked the code to utilize his skills to the fullest potential. First off, without him on the field, Turkey has a very hard time beating the press. His calm one-touch passing ability and his positioning to give the Turkish defenders an extra option has been phenomenal. He does the dirty work on the team, and if I were to compare him to a player who was more well-known, I would say he has the Rodri playstyle. Anyways, he's the only player on this side to have been a Ballon d'Or candidate where he placed 20th this year, and I'm sure many Turks are proud of him for finally becoming the standout player we all knew he could become. Also, his goal against the Czech Republic in the Euros was so class, and I don't think anyone else on this side has the power and technique to pull off a finish like that. And the next reason is because Ferdi Kadıoğlu has been playing so well on this side. His insane stamina and his ability to create plays has been crucial. Although recently Brighton have been playing him on the right wing, this is just a nod to his attacking prowess and flexibility, as he could play both fullback positions as well as even being used as a left winger for Fenerbahce at times. And finally, Turkey have appointed a competent coach in Montella. And although he may have an unorthodox playstyle of playing without a real striker in a 4-6-0 type of formation, which I personally haven't seen anywhere else in football, the one thing about him is he knows how to make the right substitutions for the right players every time, even though I will have to say some are later than I would like. Whether wanting to play more defensive, he would sub in a player like Okay Yukuşlu, or if he wants to go more offensive, he'll bring in İrfan Can Kahveci. Either way, I've seen many Turkish people call for his sacking after the loss against Netherlands, and I think to myself, no way. I mean, this guy has been doing historical things with our team left and right, and we're supposed to kick him out because of what? We all know Turkey isn't good enough to win these competitions yet. So please, TFF, please don't sack Montella. You have finally made one good decision in your entire history. Anyways, I want to move on and highlight Arda Güler's presence as well on the team, as he is Turkey's wonder kid. His amazing vision and playmaking has seen the match really open up when he's on the pitch. And also, he's super humble and hardworking. I mean, seriously, what controversy have you heard Arda Güler be in? And that's just another thing about what's perfect about this team. It seems like it has so much chemistry, and we actually all know this to be a fact because of a veteran player known as Cenk Tosun would go on an interview and state, "I've been on the national team for 13 years, and this current team has the best friendships I've ever seen." Which we all know is very important for a team to function, and Turkey has had a bad past of this. Like in 2013, when a player known as Gökhan Töre and a friend of his would bust into Hakan Çalhanoğlu and ex-Turkish international Ömer Toprak's hotel room after a match with a firearm, and told Hakan to not move or else he would be shot. And why did they do this? Well, because Hakan had a friend over in the room, and his friend had allegedly been having an affair with the wife of Gökhan Töre. Well, at least this is what Hakan would say on an interview on German television. And to add on to it, the national team coach at the time, Fatih Terim, would go on to state, "If we got rid of everyone who made a mistake, we wouldn't be able to pick a team. Gökhan has made a mistake. Should we get rid of him? If it's a crime to stick up for a 21-year-old kid, then I am guilty." Honestly, this is just such a Turkish football moment. I can't even be surprised by his comment. I mean, to paint Gökhan as the victim here is just baffling. But it also goes to show they have came a long way. Okay, now that we've gone through some reasons as to why Turkey have been doing well recently, let's address what they have to do next. Which is, for one, win out the Nations League group. They need to do this because it gives you a better seeding in draws for qualifiers, making qualifying for the next tournaments potentially easier. Well, unless they draw against the Faroe Islands. And two, it's another way to qualify for the World Cup in 2026, and as a team, they would be given the playoff spot if they were unable to qualify the traditional way through their group. Also, talking about World Cup 2026, although the competition expanded to now hold 48 teams, which is 12 more than what it used to have, with it usually being 32, UEFA would only get one more extra spot. So it's just as hard to qualify if you are a European nation as it always was. However, by that time, Arda Güler, Kenan Yıldız, and more players will be in a better developed state, and I think that they have more than enough skill to qualify. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. Turkey hasn't qualified for the World Cup since 2002, where it famously reached the semifinals before losing to prime Brazil. But is it possible? Yes. I in fact believe that this Turkey team has a much better chance to qualify than any other past teams, and if they get a favorable draw in their group, I believe we will see Turkey make a return to the world's biggest stage in America 2026. Do you guys think that Turkey has a bright future, or are they just being overhyped by me and others again? Let me know your thoughts on the dark horses in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.